for the last lantern activity, what I've done is I've cut the flaps off of a cardboard box, and then I've cut those flaps into equal squares where I've cut slots, and then decided to create patterns as well by poking holes. So what you'll need are any cardboard box scraps that you can use. Try to cut the flaps with your scissors, and then you can use a pencil or a household nail, very similar to this one, that could be used carefully to create a pattern of dots to create a design. And so I got this box in the mail that had a package, and what I've done is I've already broken it into its separate larger pieces, and then from here I'm actually going to separate it even more and use the larger flaps that are used to close the bottom and the top. And I'll be constructing with several pieces cut from flaps. So as you can see, I just used my scissors, and you'll need sturdy scissors for cutting cardboard. I wouldn't use small kid scissors. So you might want to find your adult or an older sibling to help you out. And then once you've removed the extra and you have just that flap, then you want to, I've decided to cut mine into squares. And since the width of the flap is 6 inches, and that we know that a square is the same on all sides, I want to make every side 6 inches so that it matches that edge that's already been cut. And this is a great strategy or a way to think to help you preserve materials. And what I know about this box is that there's 4 flaps on each side, and then there's 2 sides with flaps. So that gives me 8 different rectangles that'll be 6 inches wide. And so that gives me a lot of material to use where I can cut 6-inch by 6-inch squares. And so I'm going to use my ruler and measure 6 inches from here, from the end, and then see if I can make another square as well. And it looks like it's almost exactly twice that amount. So I'll get 2 6-inch squares out of this one flap. And all I do is make a dash on the end, and then because the cardboard has its own lines going across all the way across the whole material, I just follow the lines that are already there instead of wasting work on creating new ones. And so now I have 2 somewhat equally, pretty much the same sized squares of cardboard that I can build with. And then once you've cut 4, you have the ability to build and start constructing a 4-sided object with these squares. And so what I've already done to one of them is I've cut 2 notches on each side. And one of the tricky things about building with cardboard is that it's rigid, right? It's a little thicker. You can't just glue it and leave it standing up. Tape, sometimes the kind of tape that's big enough or sturdy enough to hold cardboard together can be tough to find. But if you find a pair of scissors, the cool thing about what makes cardboard hard to glue and tape actually makes it easier to build with, because if you just remove certain amounts and design a strategy for how you do that, you can create pieces that don't need to be glued together, but can actually be just pieced together like a puzzle and hold their own shape. And so that's what I'll be demonstrating next, is how to create these slots and how you want to think about doing that, so that you can have a cardboard lantern that requires no adhesives to stand up on its own. And so we have our new flaps here, and I want to think about how these are going to interlock together. You could have 3 that go together in a triangle, or you could have 4 that go together in a square. And since I already have one cut, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the other 3 sides for that one piece, so that I have my 4 sides together. And so I want to think about how these will lock together tightly. I also want to think about how they're going to meet in the middle, so that if there's one side that's deeper, my sides won't sit evenly. They'll actually rest more like this, which will make them hard to sit on a surface. So you want them to lock together and kind of stop naturally and automatically. And so what I'm going to do is I just approximate, but you can also use your ruler and a pencil and just measure. We know it's 6 inches, so we know that 6 inches is 3 inches. And so I know that this is the halfway point. And then what I want to do is make sure that I make my cut far enough on the inside so that I have enough material that it's sturdy. If you make this too skinny, it's likely to rip or tear because it becomes too fragile. So I want to make my 3-inch mark about a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch to the interior, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my other piece on top and actually trace the thickness of my cardboard so that when I cut my slot, the cardboard, the thickness fits right in there just perfectly. And you can just use your scissors for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lay the scissors on the line and just gently close them because I know that they'll close in a straight line. And then I have that small piece in the middle that I can poke through and pull. And then I'll just pull that upward and see at the end of it. And so that's one slot I've created that'll fit perfectly with another piece, just like that. And so you want to do that again on the other side as well. Same strategy. Measure with my ruler. Make my line inside enough so that I have enough support. Trace with another sheet of cardboard. And cut with my scissors. Once I remove that last piece, I'll have one complete panel. And if you make 3 more of these, you'll have enough put together just like so. And it will stand up on its own and hold up its own shape. And so now we can talk about how to decorate the outside so that you can have different colors and different textures, and then even use materials like a sharp pencil or a nail to put holes through so that light can shine out. Very similar to lantern number 3. And so what I've done here is I've actually cut a mini snowflake from a small piece of paper and glued that on. And then from here, I can use my pencil and poke holes in an organized way inside the negative space of my snowflake to just have some fun and let light shine through in a way that relates to the design on the outside. And you can use a sharp pencil or a nail to do this part. Here I had a doily that I saved, and I actually folded it and cut a fun snowflake pattern as well on the inside. And then I can use my nail to maybe add a little pinpoint of light to shine through that relates to the design on the outside. And so that's just a nice connection to the picture that we see and then the light that will be coming out from the candle. And so that's the 4th type of lantern. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And what I've tried to do is present different levels of difficulty for different ages of students. And so just choose a lantern that you decide to make and have fun creating. Never stop seeing the potential in the materials that are around us. Bye.